Right, out on the track, we've got the Junior Trophy there, and I think it's it is a 6-lap race. I'll try and keep an eye on what's happening out there on the track. And Reece Lindsay there on pole position with Campbell Grayling there on the EX250 Kawasaki Ninja there in second spot. We've got Tarbin Walker, Esmond Williams, JP Sebret's there on the 77 machine. I'm going to try and flick through, see where I can find this class. There we go, the Junior Trophy. The Junior Trophy, so bike number 77 is not listed out there. 77, that's JP site. Oh, I don't even know how to say. Oh, bike down there in a big way there, down on the infield and towards the tail end of the field, and the bike off the line, the rider getting up and holding his wrist, so out of action there, and just a single bike thing. There's a bit of water coming into that left-hander there on the S's, so good thing it was only a single bike drama. Somebody making a big move down that centre straight and getting about 3 to 4 bike lengths, and that person is wearing an orange jacket, which probably signifies they're a newcomer, so we'll have to try and keep an eye on that person. If they are a newcomer, they're certainly making serious inroads down there as we look at the lead 2 bikes going down the back straight for this 6-lap race. And it's brought to you by Kiwi Bike Insurance. Kiwi Bike based in New Plymouth. It doesn't really matter where they're based, because with the Internaughty nowadays you can do your business with them. They're not actually an insurance company that insure bikes with their own backing. They're an insurance broker, so they'll go out to all the insurance companies that do bikes, and they will suss out the best policy for you, whether it be a race bike that's insured when it's not on the racetrack. I don't think no one will ever insure a bike on the racetrack, except especially that guy with the parked in the kitty litter. But you know, it's a race bike, a vintage bike, whether you've got a Harley, a European, Japanese bike, whether it's a dirt bike, Kiwi Bike will find the best insurance company for you and deal with them. You know, you can go directly to that insurance company, but you won't know which is the best one for your product. And of course, fee-wise, I would say it wouldn't be any dearer to go. No, definitely not any dearer, because the insurance companies have a little bit of a margin there for brokers and that, and it's certainly a new way of doing things. It's been around for a few years, but Kiwi Bike Insurance lead the motorcycle insurance industry in New Zealand. So if you don't know what category you need to be into or whatever, if you're not happy with your own insurance company, or if you've got no insurance at all, just catch up with Kiwi Bike. And it's just mentioned too that they support our racing as well, and we see quite a number of the riders over the years have had the Kiwi Bike logo on the side of their bikes there. 5 laps to go here with Tarbin Walker leading there, going down that back straight. I didn't pick up who that person was in the orange vest. They are riding one of those little wee KTM 390s there, the single cylinder machines. I can recognise that silhouette of the bike down the back straight there. Tarbin Walker on the 21 machine goes through. Closely behind it is Reece Lindsay. A battle going on there for 3rd and 4th. In fact, we're going to see a change of position maybe into turn 1. It was Campbell Grayling with Esmond Williams, but that's how it's gone. I think Campbell Grayling, yes, is on the green Kawasaki. Williams is on a Honda CBR, and there we go, the change of position there for 3rd as Williams goes up on the inside on that right-hander in the first one of the S's and holds off Campbell Grayling going through the infield there. So Grayling coming back, trying round the outside. Yes, he goes round the outside, back into the lead. He goes tight into the turn, into the hairpin there, and pushes Williams right up to the edge here. I think Williams just, it was a good clean move. It was standard racing practice down into that hairpin. Somebody goes low, somebody goes high, but I think the machine that Esmond Williams was on, or the way he just went, he just got a little bit spooked or something like that and lost quite a bit of ground. We go back into that 5th place bike, and that is one of 2 bright coloured bikes out there. 5th place will be James Barnum. 6th, JB Sebret, and of course I think it's Dion Torquist is the one that's on that little wee bike. No, maybe Joe McCartney. I've got to sort that one out. Dion Torquist is listed as being on an NSR Honda 252 stroke, whereas I'm sure that bike out there with the Vestas that I've talked about is a KTM 390. Change of position, no, not at the front, but a fastest lap there for Reece Lindsay there. He's down into the 126.571, 2.2 of a second behind him on a 126.771 is Tarbin Walker. Am I going to get that bike? Yeah, yeah, I think that's JP Sabret's there, a name I don't recognise there on the 77 machine. Somebody slowing coming out of the Toyota corner, or was it just the fact that the whole bike field there being the smaller class is a bit slow? I think no, they didn't slow down. That will be Dion Torquist there, and we see him going through the infield. Out to the front and tightening up there with the man in second place there, the fastest lap of the race so far, just 0.2 of a second behind. His bike's a little bit quicker down that centre straight. His bike is a little bit quicker down that centre straight, so we're watching over to the back straight to see what's going on, and it is still Tarbin Walker on the CBR 250RR. This will be a 4-cylinder 250cc machine, bit different power characteristics to the 390 single machine of the KTM, the KTM Austrian made, I believe. Somebody will come and correct me if anybody's bothering to listen today. Good to see CTAS back out on the racetrack supporting our thing after their absence from the New Zealand Superbike Championship this year. MNZ choosing to go in a little bit of a different direction, and we didn't have the luxury of having CTAS at the New Zealand Championships. Talking to Grant a bit earlier on today, mate, he's been a busy man this year. I was sort of whining about how many weekends I've had away this year, and he's had a bit more than me, and like both of us, we've got our own business to run. I'm easy to travel. I just jump on a plane. I don't take anything with me really, except a set of binoculars, which I haven't even brought up into the commentary box today. He's got a truckload of gear. Went down to Queenstown to the Wanaka meeting for the Jet Sprints this year, which he's been covering, and had to drive all the way from Hamilton with his car full of gear, whereas I can just get in however I like. It was tightening up there at the front, and we did see Reece Lindsay poking his nose up the side of Tarbin Walker, and maybe there's going to be a change of position over into Higgins. And as I say that, Campbell Grayling there in third spot has got into the 125s and has set the fastest lap of the race so far, so 125.578. He's trailing them by about 2.5 seconds. He's trailing the two lead bikes, so right now with 2 laps to go, I don't think there's any chance of him getting through and taking a win or getting right up into those riders, but certainly he's pulling himself into that lead 2 pack. So he's got a good solid third at the moment, but it's not solid out there in first and second. They're solid, hard-charging riders, but right now they're not giving anybody an inch there. In fact, it was Tarbin walking going across the start-finish line in front, but I'm sure that Reece Lindsay poked his nose in the front, tucked up on that inside line going into Toyota, and given a bit of a break to Tarbin Walker. It was right, they were side by side, and I'm sure that Reece Lindsay got into the front going into that corner, but coming out of it, there's 3 to 4 bike lengths. Here comes Lindsay trying around there. What will happen at the hairpin? This is where all the major changes are usually going on in this race, but right now I don't think there's enough for Lindsay to gain anything out of that hairpin except a little bit of ground to cover up. In fact, Tarbin Walker seems to have this corner sorted out and pulled a couple of bike lengths. The KTM just that little bit faster down the back centre straight. Not really this lap, and I think that's something to do with not being in the slipstream as well. Campbell Grayling still the fastest man on the track on the Kawasaki, the 58 machine in third place. Great battle going on there for 4th and 5th between Esmond Williams and James Barman. And I think it's Esmond Williams still in the front. You'll see them coming out of Higgins there, one a black bike, the other probably a black bike. I can't see too much of it, but certainly bright orange gear. Doing that. They go down that back straight there. One of them pulls up side by side with the other one as we look round onto the front straight there. This is the checkered flag. I missed the white flag once again. The checkered flag's come out. Tarbin Walker takes a little bit of a look over his shoulder, but he's got this one sewn up, the 21 machine there, and set the fastest lap of the race there as well. He pulled out a 24.8, a 24.8. Wow, a battle going on there between 47 and James Barnum. That was down to 8 thousandths of a second. So they say it's just a winter series. The racing won't be that tight and all that, but we've seen a 5 and an 8 thousandths of a second split there for the minor money earlier on. We've seen a win by 33 thousandths of a second. So tight race.